Hello everyone, Todd A. Why I will tell you about 15 films and TV series that are similar to The Witcher. Modern cinema very successfully transfers stories from the pages of well-known and beloved fairy tales and fantasy to the screen, and the viewer can only sit comfortably in an armchair and go towards adventure, plunging into the world of magic and magical creatures, where the battle between good and evil can last a couple of hours and can stretch over several seasons. We invite you to take a look at a list of 15 best films and TV series similar to The Fresh The Witcher of 2019 from Netflix, with no less fascinating stories about monsters and princesses, brave knights and treacherous rulers, as well as other characters that should be present in the stories. Like the adaptation of the novels by Andrzej Sapkowski. 1. Game of Thrones TV series, 2011 to 2019. Power over the Seven Kingdoms and the Iron Throne is concentrated in the hands of King Robert Baratheon. The unexpected death of the chief advisor forces the ruler to head north in order to persuade a longtime friend of Lord Eddard Stark to take on the duties of the Hand. Robert's plans are to seal the family bond by marrying his son Joffrey to Stark's daughter. However, he is not alone in worrying about the future of the crown. His insidious wife has her own claims to the throne. The Targaryen family is also hatching plans to conquer Westeros across the sea, and bad news from behind the wall about the White Walkers only aggravates the situation in the Seven Kingdoms. 2. The Brothers Grimm, 2005. The brothers Will and Jacob are fabulous adventurers. They compose stories about evil spirits, frighten the inhabitants of the settlements with them, and arrange a performance with exile for a fee. The glory of the great deeds goes ahead of the duet, and now the main characters get a real task. In one of the villages several girls disappeared, and it seems that the case here really was not without magic. The guys will have to visit the enchanted forest and meet its beautiful and dangerous inhabitant, the Mirror Queen. 3. Scary Tales TV series 2014. In the evenings, ominous events take place on the streets and in the houses of the British capital. Horrible creatures of various kinds attack the inhabitants of the city, but there are heroes who can repel the raging evil spirits. Lord Malcolm Murray, together with the mysterious and beautiful Vanessa Ives, gathers a team of extraordinary people to resist the dark force and find daughter Mina, kidnapped by an unknown creature. 4. Van Helsing, 2004. Van Helsing, a fighter against evil spirits, on the instructions of the Vatican, makes his way to Transylvania. There the immortal Count Dracula and his vampire bride are kept in fear of mere mortals. Arriving at the place, the main character finds a like-minded person in the person of Princess Anne. In the company of the beauty and faithful servant Carl Van Helsing, armed to the teeth with garlic and other attributes, enters into a fierce duel with bloodsuckers. 5. Grimm TV series, 2011 to 2017. Nick Burkhardt works as a detective in Portland, meets with the charming Juliet, and is going to propose to her. However, the unexpected visit of Aunt Marie makes serious adjustments to the life of a man. It is revealed that he is a descendant of the Grimm family hunters. He is able to discern an inhuman essence behind a human mask, which means that from now on his mission is to protect ordinary mortals from representatives of the supernatural world. 6. Vikings TV series, 2013. The representative of the Viking tribe Ragnar Lothbrok makes a successful foray into the lands of Anglo-Saxon Britain. True, the lion's share of the booty upon his return has to be given to the local ruler, but the brave warrior will soon throw off this yoke, killing the Jarl in a duel. Ragnar himself becomes the owner of this title. Great things await him: long hikes, internecine feuds, meetings with beautiful ladies and insidious enemies, and the storming of Paris. 7. The Tudors TV series, 2007 to 2010. The young and ambitious ruler of England, Henry VIII, is full of anxiety and excitement over the issue of succession to the throne. Intrigues and conspiracies are woven around him with the participation of a more noble nobility with the assistance of neighboring powers, and his only legitimate child is his daughter Maria. The seductive beauty Anne Boleyn promises to help the king acquire an heir son, provided that they are legally married. By the way, the current performer of the role of the Witcher, Henry Cavill, also appeared in this series. 8. Once Upon a Time TV series, 2011 to 2018. Emma Swan celebrates her 28th birthday alone. She lives and works in Boston and has yet to have a family or friends. Suddenly, the boy Henry knocks on the door of her house. He claims to be the son of the main character and asks to go with him to the town of Storybrooke. He explains that its inhabitants are fairy tale heroes in the past, but due to the machinations of the evil queen, they are imprisoned in a place where time has stopped and there is no happiness. Emma does not believe the boy's words but agrees to take him to his stepmother in Storybrooke. 9. Dark Beginnings TV series 2019. A screen version of Philip Pullman's trilogy. Lyra was brought up within the walls of Jordan College until she was 12 years old. Her uncle, explorer Azrael, left her here. He himself is in constant travel and brings confusion to the minds of Oxford scientists with his polar findings and statements about the existence of other worlds. The girl also dreams of exploring the unknown at the North Pole with her uncle, but for now, she is given the opportunity to go to London with the mysterious lady Marissa Coulter. Before leaving the master of the college, Lyra receives an alethiometer, a device that shows the truth. 10. Lord of the Rings Trilogy, 2001 to 2003. The Ring of the Dark Lord Sauron falls into the hands of the young hobbit Frodo. The wizard Gandalf, a friend of the protagonist, realizes his great power, and that if it returns to the hands of the Creator, then all living things will be in trouble. There is only one way to get rid of the treasure: to throw it into the flames of Mount Doom. However, the path to those lands is far and very dangerous. Frodo decides to shoulder this mission on his fragile shoulders. Together with him, a support group consisting of hobbit friends, a magician, a dwarf, an elf and 2 excellent warriors goes on a journey. 11. The Last Kingdom TV series, 2015. During the next raid on the Anglo-Saxon settlement, Jarl Ragnar leaves young Uhtred alive, who amazed him with audacity and courage. Raised in the Viking camp, the boy grows into a fearless warrior. Soon, his adoptive parent dies at the hands of a traitor tribesman. The fire of revenge rages in the heart of Uhtred, and with it comes the time to choose between the opposing sides, the Saxons and the Vikings, and it is not easy for a representative of the Anglo-Saxon nobility by blood, but with the soul of a brave warrior. 12. Kingdom TV series 2019. The Korean state of Joseon after the war. The sick ruler dies, but not completely. He becomes a zombie-like monster that devours human flesh. Crown Prince Lee Chong tries to meet with him, but he does not succeed, because the terrible secret of the sovereign is carefully hidden. Soon, the young man still learns about the transformation that happened to his father, and not only. The kingdom has a serious new problem, and Lee Chong goes in search of a cure. 13. Pan's Labyrinth, 2005. Ophelia, along with her pregnant mother, moves to her stepfather's military camp. Captain Vidal is actively fighting rebel groups opposing the Franco dictatorship. The man does not care about his stepdaughter, he is looking forward to the appearance of his son. An inquisitive girl immediately upon arrival finds an old stone labyrinth nearby, which interests a young fan of fairy tales. It is his corridors that will lead the main character to one of them. 14. The Hobbit Trilogy, 2012 to 2014. The hobbit Bilbo Baggins, unexpectedly for himself, becomes a participant in the trip to the Lonely Mountain. A company of 13 dwarfs led by the exiled king Thorin Oakenshield is determined to reclaim the lost lands and treasures by fighting the fire-breathing dragon Smaug. On the way to the monster of the heroes, many unexpected encounters and trials await. Bilbo, too, will not escape a fateful acquaintance, after which he will become the owner of a real treasure, the Ring of Omnipotence. 15. The Mandalorian TV series 2019. 5 years have passed since the end of the Galactic Empire. A lone Mandalorian warrior is forced to vegetate on the outskirts of the galaxy, earning his living by finding and delivering criminal elements. Finally, he receives an order from a reputable customer who plans to pay off the bounty hunter Beskar Steel. There is very little information about the target, but the main character manages to find out its location. Having dealt with the guards, the Mandalorian discovers that the prey, which they so fiercely defended, is a green-eared creature. Bonus: The Witcher TV series 2002. At the age of 7, Geralt enters the Witcher Order. He undergoes a whole series of mutations and trials, but passes all difficulties with honor and becomes a real Witcher, whose mission is to protect people from monsters. However, from the very beginning, the hero was different from his fellows. He was not just a machine for the extermination of evil spirits but was able to show feelings and emotions. And in addition to all sorts of monsters and mystical creatures, Geralt has to fight monsters in human guise, rapists, murderers, and traitors. Thank you for watching. We advise you to watch our other interesting videos. See you soon.